Here we are back to the participant list. Time to boot the people without factions. We have Gundabad not checked in, doesn't have a faction. I'm sorry, my friend. I'm going to be booting you from this tournament. Rejal, same goes for you. Excuse me, everybody. Oh, I'm sneezing. So hard. Okay. Other than that, looks like everybody has their faction in there. We are going to shuffle the seed and process the check-in results. Shuffle. Wait a minute, actually. I'm doing that backwards. Let's go ahead, process check-in results. Go back to the participant list. Shuffle the seeds. Boom, boom, boom. Go back here and start the tournament. Everybody, the tournament has begun. Let's go find our first match of the day just as quickly. So let's go ahead and pull up our match intro card as we remove the army blocker and my ugly mug from this screen, and we will get into the match at hand. Boom, boom, boom. Here we have Loopy's Wood Elves versus Chosen One Skaven in this best of one. We had in the final round because it's a best of one. So here we go. Going to take off that intro card. Orion versus Queek Headtaker. And let's go ahead and start with Orion here. So we have the Wood Elves brought by ODM Loopy. He's going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 Way Watchers. Let me double check. I think that's legal. I trust that it is legal because he's a man of honor, but let me double check too. Aside from that, he is going to have the 4, or what is that, 3 Dryads? Yeah, so 3 Dryads, as well as 3 Wild Riders, all of them with shields. Now, looking around, I want to see what else he has on the field. 3 Dryads, 3 Wild Riders, and 4 Way Watchers. Okay, pretty bare bones army. He's going to have up in the air his leadership. He's going to have Spellsinger of Life on top of that Hawk, and she's going to have Earthblood, Awakening to the Wood, and Blessing of the Ancients. Blessing of the Ancients on this map, I guess you can take advantage of it here in this forest, and that will give her a lot of recharge, so possibly worth it, especially with healing. You got a Glade Lord over here with Prey of Anathema and nothing else. Now, that rounds out our Wood Elf army. Very small, very elite. I'm curious to see how it does. He's gonna have to play it to near perfection to make sure he doesn't lose anything, but these Way Watchers will be absolutely devastating. Now, for the Skaven side, we got Skaven Slaves for days. We're gonna have a front line consisting of 4 Skaven Slaves. He is then going to have them backed up with some Clan Rat Spears. Also going to have shields over here. Looks like 4 Clan Rat Spears with shields, and then we have the Clan Vulcan Tail Slashers, Clan Rats with shields, and they are a regiment of renown with that fire damage. Now, rounding out the rest of this army, it looks like we have another 2 Clan Rats with spears, just regular variant. And we are going to check out, the Council Guard Storm Vermin, Unbreakable Regiment of Renown Storm Vermin with halberds. Absolutely love that unit. Now, moving around the field for some mass, we're going to have a bit of Rat Ogre action. So 1, 2, and is that 3? No, so 2 Rat Ogre units. He is then going to have a Hellpit Abomination of all things, but I guess if they go for the heavy tree build, and Wild Riders are going to have a tough time taking down a Hellpit Abomination, but I imagine the Way Watchers are going to be trying to do just that. And now some counter skirmish. We have 2 Warplock Giselles. They do have very good range at 300, and we have a Warp Lightning Cannon as well being guarded by the Council Guard. Now, for the Skaven leadership, we have Ikit Claw, and he is on his Doomflayer here, rolling around like a boss, and he is going to have with him the Brass Orb, Unlimited Power, as well as Death Frenzy, Howling Warp Gale, Warp Lightning, and Musk of Fear. So, here we go, guys. Who's going to come out on top? The Hippie Wood Elves or the Mad Scientist Skaven? 4 Way Watchers over here. He's going to have to manage these very well, and I do worry, since they're going to be discovered, that they will get torn apart by the Warplock Giselles, who do outrange them by quite a lot. The Way Watchers only 190 range. So I do worry about this Wood Elf army right now because they're going to get outranged. So unless they get in there and get some really good pot shots off, they're going to be out-skirmished right here because these guys have 110 extra range over them. And the Skaven player is doing a beautiful job right here with his formation. Something a lot of players take for granted, but spacing and screening using your chaff units is one of the most fundamental strategies and tactics you need to learn in the game, because it's key to many army strategies going onto the battlefield, because zoning out your opponent and protecting your ranged is, you know, super frustrating, especially for a build like this that is so focused, puts so much money and investment into this damage potential from the Way Watchers. These guys aren't cheap. If I recall, 1100 a pop, so somebody correct me if I'm wrong there. Oh, here we go. Shooting the Clan Vulcan Tail Slashers and doing quite a lot of damage. That's going to be the first target there. I almost would fart. I would almost target Clanrat Spears here just because they're more threatening to his Wild Riders. But alas, that's a more valuable unit point-wise, so I get the choice. But yeah, at this point, it's just like, how do you shut down the... Yeah, I mean, the Skaven army is just really good. Has a lot of good zoning working here. He's got the Warplock Giselles on a nice little hilltop shooting over all of their infantry, and it's absolutely completely zoned out, these Way Watchers, who are taking quite a lot of damage over time. I mean, look, this one's below half health now. They're starting to clump as they're maneuvering, so I'd like to see these guys spread out a bit more, because these two units for sure are taking damage at the same time. So two of these guys down to half health, one down to 3/4 health, and one still healthy, and all of them very good on ammunition, so they can still put out a ton of damage. But here we go, Dryads getting ready to dive into combat up here against some Skaven slaves. They should make very quick work of these Skaven slaves, but after all, Skaven slaves are here to die, aren't they? Okay, over here, Wild Riders looking like they were trying to dive in, getting blocked by some Rat Ogres, but getting a good charge off by the looks of it, but then just getting absolutely swallowed by some Clan Rat Spears and the Warp Lightning Cannon. Going back up to a higher level view, looks like some of the Dryads already making quick work of the Skaven slaves up front, not taking too much damage, and Awakening of the Wood going to go down here, and that's going to help a lot with that speed debuff. These guys are down to 17, which should give the Wild Riders more than enough time to make some quick work of these, Warplock Giselles over here, but it looks like they are going to target the Warp Lightning Cannon instead. Not a bad idea getting rid of that artillery, but they do need to get out of there very, very quickly, or they're going to get caught by Ikit Claw, some Rat Ogres, and a Hell Pit Abomination. So these guys, if they don't get out of here, it's going to be game over for them. But question is, have they done enough to get these Way Watchers up here into action so they can start making some quick work of some of these key Skaven units like the Hell Pit Abomination? Because I have to imagine no more than 3 volleys would probably be enough to get it really, really low in health. Looks like this is a pretty even game as of now, but I mean, I have to give the edge to the Skaven here because they have far more units on their side. The Hell Pit Abomination is untouched. The Warplock Giselles are still on operational. And now you see a Spellsinger of Life getting Howling Warpgeld in place as these guys continue to fire on her. Looks like the Glade Lord gonna go into combat to nobly try and save the Spellsinger of Life. But my big problem here is at the sacrifice of all of those Wild Riders coming over here trying to shut down the Skaven ranged, they just lost 3 of their most important units in the battlefield. I mean, these guys are very low on health. These guys are routing and getting chased by Rat Ogres. And yeah, without the Wild Riders, I just have very big doubts about how well the Wood Elves will be able to do here. However, they do still have their Spellsinger and their Glade Lord. And they also have 4 Way Watchers who still have a lot of ammunition, although some of them are looking a bit worse for wear. Almost think these Way Watchers could just kill off these Skaven slaves, but I get why you don't want to waste time fighting Skaven slaves, because that just plays into the hands of the Skaven player. But look at this, Ikit Claw, just barely 2 volleys and doing so much damage, but looks like Loopy is going to concede defeat from there. I've seen him win that match a couple of times in tournaments, so I think that speaks a great deal towards how well Chosen One played this round. Looking at his army, I know I said spacing and zoning a lot this match, but I just want to continue to emphasize that I really think this army was very well built. You have the Skaven slaves to take the first tier of the blow from the Wood Elves coming in. These guys just break up the initial charges of the Dryads, buy valuable time for the rest of the Skaven forces. Second line of Clan Rats with spears, some of them with shields. And then the very last, you have one unbreakable unit of Council Guard with some Rat Ogres. Now, for the mass to deal with Wild Riders, he had 2 Rat Ogres and a Hell Pit Abomination. And then he had the ranged options to really pester the Wood Elf ranged by using Warplock Giselles and Warp Lightning Cannons, which I think Chosen One was very well aware of, outrange everything the Wood Elves can bring onto the field. So a very well-built army to the Skaven player here, but obviously a great game to Loopy. He's always one of the best Wood Elf players we have in these tournaments, so I want to give a shout-out to him as well. But if I had to say one thing, I don't like the 4-way Watchers. I think that's way too much investment in the ranged component of your army without enough investment into what's going to protect that and distract the rest of the Skaven forces, because even one less Way Watcher could give you another couple Dryads, and I think 5 Dryads and 3 Way Watchers would be even a little bit better than this, but I don't know. I'm not a Wood Elf main, so I don't want to be too presumptuous. And right now we have Mukip versus Rixon. 2 great players. Haven't seen Rixon play in a while, so I'm excited to see how he fares. Rigson. Also, guys, I'm sorry, but the finals for Season 1 will not be next weekend. I'm trying to work with the players to schedule it another time. Real life happens, and had something come up, so I have to find another date for the finals from Season 1, which really bums me out because I'm excited for that tournament. $300 prize, and it should be a really good time. Let's go ahead and grab a High Elf banner here. Boom, boom, boom. And then we're going to grab ourselves a Vampire Coast banner as well. Now, let's go ahead and grab good old Necro Vex Colossus. Now, starting with our undead player, we have Red here, Red of Rigson. Now, his army is going to consist of, starting with the infantry, 1, 2, 3, 4 zombie pirate deckhand mob. He is then going to have 3 units of zombie pirate deckhand mob with polearms. Aside from this, he is going to have 2 units of depth guard. Depth guard are very tough infantry. They have hunger, so they regenerate when in combat. I believe that's still the stat. Yes, in melee. And they're very good armor and melee defense. 49, 31. These guys are quite capable melee infantry. And actually, there's 3 of these depth guard. So interesting. I like this build. It's a bit different than we're used to seeing. Going here to the double monster, we have 2 rotting leviathans. These crabs with the hulls of ships as their shell. Very highly armored, 150. Very huge health pools at nearly 7,500 apiece. Unless the elves have those Sisters of Averlorn, which I think I see from here, their little blue bows, they're going to have trouble getting through the thick shell of that crab. Now, last but certainly not least, we have the required Noctilus, because he's the most competitive lord, I guess, according to most players. But who's going to lie? RNS Assault Spike is the best. We got Captain Roth's Moondial, we have Wraithstorm, Arcane Conduit, Invocation of Nehek, Drown Dead, and the Hunger. Now, this is not allowed, right? The Drown Dead and the Moondial? Let me double check in the rules here, because I thought Noctilus couldn't do that. That you couldn't bring multiple, or did they remove the summoning rule because of the nerfs they applied to summoning? Okay, gotcha. Cool. Do the summon changes. Thank you for clarifying. So there we go. We have it. Count Noctilus, and once again reviewing the new rules. So now we have the High Elves. God, I love the High Elves. They're a cool faction, but a lot of people hate them right now because they're very strong. They have 5 units of spearmen, 4 units of regular archers. They're going to have 4 units of Lothern Sea Guard, it would seem. No, 3 units of Lothern Sea Guard, and 3 units of Sisters of Averlorn. I love this army. This is absolutely what I would do against the Vampire Coast, although I need to see some cav here, and it looks like they do have some of that. So, going to be some Illyrian Reavers vanguarded on the map behind the opponent, hidden in position, looking to shut down any artillery. But this is a no-ranged Vampire Coast army, guys. I want to point that out. There is no range in this army. It is a rush army, and we're about to see if a rush army will be able to take down an incredibly ranged focus army, and I'm nervous for the Vampire Coast right now. But if they can close the gap quickly enough, anything is possible. But what he needs to do, absolutely, is not send in his army uneven. Like, his lines need to be even. The reason why is because of exactly this. The high elves can do this. Closest target, melt it. Next closest target, melt it. Next closest target, melt it. Next closest target, melt it. And that's what they're doing right now. Look, gone. This unit's going to be gone in a second. Now these units are going to be gone. Taking out the Depth Guard. Look at the damn damage being done. And this is the danger you can run into with a rush faction, with a rush build into the High Elves, especially as a faction that isn't a rush faction. You know, it's undead. It's a very slow faction overall, like all undead factions. And now we have Illyrian Reavers coming in here to start doing some mean work to the rest of these infantry forces that are already just so damaged. Like, this is absolutely devastating for the Vampire Coast right now. The High Elves are just melting so much of their army, and there's no mobility in this Vampire Coast army. No mobility whatsoever. And now we're going to see all of the archers begin to shift their focus onto the Rotting Leviathans. And now it is time to see if these Rotting Leviathans can bring this battle back in favor of the Vampire Coast. Invocation of Nahek going down on top of these Depth Guard. But now they're still going to shatter and go away. And the balance of power is continuing to shift further and further in favor of the High Elf forces. And I have to say, Mukip is playing this battle surgically. This is a clinical from the High Elves to the Vampire Coast. And I don't want to be saying that to be disparaging in any way. Rickson is an amazing player. But Mukip's build right here is just absolutely countering Rigson's build so hard. Without any infantry on the field, there's going to be nothing to distract these archers besides the Rotting Leviathans. And they unfortunately just aren't dishing out enough damage quickly enough to take care of these archers. But Noctilus still duking it out. He's untouched. Rotting Leviathans, one of them still very healthy. The other one getting very low on health and is actually crumbling. No leadership. It desperately needs an Invocation of Nahek. But I don't even know if that will save it at this point, because it is just getting so low on health. 1,600 health points left. A summon of some zombie pirate deckhand mob going down, trying to shut down some of these archers. But as soon as this Rotting Leviathan is dead, then there's going to be nothing to distract the Wood Elves from killing the second one. And right now, no matter where they go, there's just not enough to tie down 3 Sisters of Avalorn, 3 Lothern Sea Guard, and 4 archers. Invocation to Heck did go down on top of this guy, so it is giving him some health right back to him, and we'll see if he can survive a bit longer. Oh, throwing that high elf up into the air and then just dropping him down his gullet. That looked tasty. So at least he had a meal before he died, and honestly, I think if you asked that giant crab the question about, like, hey, if you're on death row, what's your last meal going to be? He probably would have said a high elf. Oh, look, and there goes another high elf getting swallowed by the Rotting Leviathan. Yummy, yum, yum. I'm glad these guys are getting filled up before their impending doom. Balance of power is still very much in favor of the high elves. Count Noctilus still very much doing okay because the high elves don't really have anything that can take this single combatant out. He's a very tanky lord. And yeah, looks like Rigson is going to withdraw, making that a victory for Mukip. Yeah, he needed scurvy dogs. Yeah, so this is my main problem with this army. He brought a rush build without any fast units. He needed scurvy dogs. He needed Morgul. He needed Fellbats. He needed something with a bit of mobility that he could use to strategically shut down high alpha ranged units when he was bringing in his important units. Depth Guard would have destroyed high elf spearmen, but they got melted before they can even get in combat. So yeah, I think right here we're seeing another case like the previous battle of a build just being perfectly suited to what came against them. Now, I like this army a lot. The Illyrian Reavers, not only can they shut down range units from the Vampire Coast, but they have enough mass to slow down Morghuls, Scurvy Dogs, anything like that, and Scurvy Dogs will absolutely melt. So these guys are great and are very versatile and able to protect the High Elf range units. The High Elves also had 5 units of infantry out front and then 3 units of kind of hybrid melee archer infantry. So they had a good number of units that can handle themselves in combat and are more than capable of dealing with, let's say, zombie pirates. But then they also had enough range to where no matter where the Vampire Coast went, they were able to apply some serious pressure. And yeah, looking at Rickson's army, I just think it was a bit too one-dimensional. Ditch a Depth Guard, ditch a Rotting Leviathan, take your pick. I think having 2 Rotting Leviathans is actually fine against the High Elves as long as you bring the right units to complement them. And here I'm definitely feeling Scurvy Dogs were necessary. Morgul's, anything that just was a bit faster and could dish out a lot more damage to the archers faster, because Rotting Leviathans are great at dishing out damage over time to big blobs and stuff, but you don't just put them on an infantry unit and they don't kill them very quickly. They're really good at helping line engagements and charging through blobs of infantry to get the most damage done. Coast meaning to be even, Black Phillip, I was meaning like the line when you're going into battle, and here, sorry, I'll pull up my camera to better explain. Like, if your enemy's like this, in very rare occasions, you want to... I mean, unless it's a very rare occasion, you generally want your line and his line to meet like that, right? If you go in like this, like we kind of saw Rigson doing, like this is Rigson's line, this is Mukip's, as he was coming in, the range units, especially if you're a rush army going against a ranged faction, if you go in at that angle, it makes the target prioritization of the ranged faction far easier than if it was like this, because then they have to focus on the whole line, like which units do I want to take out. If they approach like this, then it's very obvious they want to shoot these units first, and then as the other units are getting closer, go down the line and continue dishing out damage, which is what I think we saw right there, a textbook example of that happening. So making sure your engagements are made on even lines is very important, and also like trying to get flanking units around to shut down range units before your front line gets engaged is very important too. Okay, here we go. Army blocker, HP camera, get out of here. Okay, cool. I can edit the brackets anyway, so if that's what's happening, that's good to know. Gobbo Slayer is fighting Archon, but why is Archon saying, why in the tournament bracket is Archon already played Hadres? What's happening? The Undertaker, thank you so much. Red player, I know Undertaker. I should have remembered that was the other guy. I'm just going to put in Undertaker. 22. Okay, everybody. Here we are loading into the fight. And I'm going to double check that I didn't completely butcher Hiotep's name. Hiotep Suchi. Oh my god. I did it, except I missed an E. That's not bad, people. That's not bad at all. Hiotep Suchi. Alright, so we got the Beastmen over here in red. I think we should start with them. What do y'all think? Yeah, I told him if he signs up with his name, he's allowed, but if I ever catch him with a Smurf account in one of my tournaments again, I'm banning him forever. So that's my rule. He has to identify himself and him, and if I find any Smurf accounts or something, I'm banning him for good because I don't have time for that nonsense. Now, for the scoreboard, this is 0-0, and we have the Beastmen here. Starting with them, we have 2 units of Bestergore Herd, making a third one here, actually, with the Koroks Manrippers Regiment renowned with their halberds. Aside from that, we have the Blackhorn Ravagers, along with 3 other Gore Herd with shields. Aside from that, before we get into the leadership, we're going to have a front line consisting of 5 Ungor Spearmen with shields. The shields not only add that extra defense, but they also add extra leadership, so I think they're totally worth it for the extra 50 gold. You have the Destroyers of Drakewald here, these purplish regiment-renowned Ungor Spearmen who do have poison. Aside from this, we are going to have a unit of Ungor Raiders ranked up to 5, making them a lot more accurate, and they're also pretty capable in melee against low-tier infantry. And then aside from this, we have the leadership squad here, and it's going to be a Bray Shaman on foot. This Bray Shaman is going to have Fate of Buna, Spirit Leech, as well as the Jagged Dagger and Life Leeching. Aside from him, we have Morgor the Shadow Gave over here, a very tanky lord indeed, almost as tanky as Noculus. He has Regeneration, and he has the Summons for the Chaos Bond, along with Call to Violence and Foe Seeker. Now, he also has some crazy missile resistance here at, what is it? 75%, so he's a pretty tough lord. Now, over here, let's actually change the blue faction's banner because I just saw he brought Teclis. So we'll throw Teclis up on the screen here. Hiotepsuchi here. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that name. But he's going to have 4 units of Spearmen, 2 units of White Lines of Trace. Now, backing them up, he's going to have some Dragon Princes. 2 of them to be precise. 1 regular and 1 being the Fireborn Regiment right now with the bonus versus large and fire damage. Now, wait, do they have fire damage? Yes, they do. Good. I'd be pissed if they didn't. But not surprised. Aside from that, we have some Illyrian Reaver archers out front to get some early skirmishing done. We have a Eagle Claw bolt thrower here to shoot in those bolts. And then we also have a Star Dragon, a big heavy hitter up in the air. Beastmen don't have much air options, so I think the Star Dragon's not a bad option here. There is something I missed in this Beastman army, and it's honestly the most important thing in the Beastman army. And that, of course, is going to be Minotaurs with great weapons. These guys going to be coming forward, ready to dish out some serious damage to any large units the High Elves have on the field, like those Dragon Princes. But definitely going to be the target of the Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower, and I imagine some Archer Fire. I'm also changing the red faction banner for the Beastmen because he's got Minotaurs, and I want to see some Minotaurs goring some Empire people. Boop doop. Okay, everybody, now, are the High Elves going to get a counter charge, or are they going to take this charge? Oh! Dragon Prince is coming through just in the nick of time to dish out a very big charge to those Ungor Spearmen. And now we're going to see the High Elf line actually pulling back in the center. We'll see if they're going for some kind of Kenai type situation here, or if it was just a misclick. Usually revealing your rear to your opponent is not what you want to do, but look at this. A breath going to come down, and oh no! What a unfortunate breath, because that had some potential to do a ton of damage, and instead it just kind of got whiffed. In fact, maybe if targeting over here would have worked out a bit better for our High Elf player, but Terror going down almost immediately on those Ungor Spearmen, and we're going to see another Dragon Prince charge, although at this point I would highly recommend pulling around the side and getting some rear charges in or flank charges. Straightforward charges through your own infantry don't do nearly as much damage, especially to the morale. Here come the great weapon Minotaurs, looking like they want to get in on the combat with these Dragon Princes. But now the Dragon Princes are trying to pull through Bestigor, and they're taking a lot of damage from these armor-piercing units. And I need to see a breath on this. A breath on this so badly. But looking over here, look at this damage being done to the Minotaurs. The net of a Mintok going down. The Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower is dishing a lot of damage, and it looks like the Illyrian Reaver Archers are actually coming here to try to save the Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower from the Chaos Spawn that were summoned. Teclis over here, a Lord that I did not cover. He is going to have Regrowth, Enfeebling Foe, and Net of a Mintok, along with the Potion Shakroy, a Greater Arcane Conduit, Shield of Safri, Wild Heart, and the Kindle Flame. So, he's got quite a lot on him. He's going to get a Spirit Leech on top of him as well, but Potion Shakroy should be able to heal that right up. Now, are we going to see another breath from this Star Dragon? Oh, that one looks like it did quite a lot more damage. A lot of these guys started wavering after it happened, and in comes the Star Dragon for a glorious rear charge. And I want to give a shout out to Hiotepsuchi. I think he's playing very well with his Star Dragon and with this High Elf army in general. I was a bit worried, but I feel like the Beastmen taking so much of their fight on the front line and not taking advantage of their numerical superiority and working around the flanks is really working to the High Elf's advantage right here, because the Beastmen are basically just crashing into the front line of Spearmen, allowing the Star Dragon and Dragon Princes to continue to come in and out of combat, when I think they would have been much better served by taking their line, making it wider, getting around these sides, and then you can just start wrapping up the High Elf front line from the rear. It does look like they're about to get a break right here, and if they get a break right here, then it should be devastating. But Morgor, get in combat, dude. He hasn't been given an attack order. He's just standing there. Okay. And now we're going to see the Star Dragon continue to dish out quite a lot of damage. The Minotaurs with great weapons are basically dead now. We're also going to see the Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower start shifting to the scatter shot rounds, so it can dish out more damage to these blobs of Beastmen infantry. Star Dragon going back up. Is he almost ready for his third breath? Regrowth looks like it's about to go down on top of him too. There's a nice rear charge coming in from the Dragon Princes. Star Dragon diving through. And I have to say, the advantage is very much in Beastman's favor according to the balance of power. But I feel like the High Elves are looking really strong right now. I mean, they still have some Dragon Princes. And as we've seen in many tournaments, even though these Dragon Princes are super hurt, they're not close to dead. These guys will keep on fighting until they're down to like 3 models. And yeah, let's see if the Star Dragon can get a good breath going down here, or, you know, what the High Elves need to get going to finish this off. Right now, the Korok's Man Rippers are packed so tight around these white lines of trace. This guy needs to take off and get a breath right in here. If he got a breath on top of these units, holy shit, what kind of value that would be. Oh my god, I need to see that happen. It looks like he's pulling back into the air. Over here, Morgor the Shadowgave is continuing to help in this fight against the High Elf Infantry. Should be able to win that out. But there goes the Star Dragon up in the air. Is he going to get a breath? I don't know. Maybe I'm just putting too much importance on it, but there it is. Oh no, it dropped. It dropped. The breath didn't go down. Oh man, if that first one wouldn't have dropped, it probably would have done quite a lot more damage, but still did quite a lot to the Bestigor herd, and I think it's going to be enough to help get some terror routes there. Damn. High Elves are bringing this back on the balance of power. We have the Deathcaster terrified. Not on a chariot. It's going to be a pretty hard target for the Star Dragon to take out. But man, oh man. Who's going to come out on top here? The infantry for the Beastmen have finally started to wear out. All of the High Elf infantry looks like it's almost dead. They only have some Dragon Princes left on the field that are relatively healthy. But as you can see, balance of power is evening out more and more. And yeah, the High Elves looking like they're going to be in a pretty strong position going into the late game here. Star Dragon coming in. Oh man, dishing out quite a lot of damage here to those Bestigor. I love Star Dragons. They cool. That was some pretty janky animations. That was funny. And here comes the Beastmen once again, charging in columns, like Scipio Africanus would have his troops march in columns to outflank the enemy. But in any case, yeah, I feel like this battle is very much High Elf favored right now. Morgor the Shadowgave is still around, but it's just going to be really tough. And also, we have to remember, this Star Dragon does flame damage. Why is that relevant right now? Well, ladies and gentlemen, look at Morgor the Shadowgave. He has regeneration. Along with regeneration comes a 25% weakness to fire damage. So, this Star Dragon, once it does start fighting with Morgor, will probably not be the friendliest enemy he's faced, because he will be 25% weaker to its melee attacks than to other opponents. Beat breaths randomly dropped after an order is CA's way of balancing them. Not buckets of balance. Alright guys, so here we are. Morgor is nearby all of his infantry now. The Korok's Man Rippers are still quite healthy. There's no more breaths on the field. Also, Teclis doesn't have any offensive magic, but he does have regrowth, which I think is going to seal the fate of this Beastman player, because I'm sure Teclis still has enough magic for at least one more regrowth that he can throw down on top of that Star Dragon. Beastmen are going to go ahead and get into a box-like formation, which I'm going to allow because it looks like both players are just kind of getting in formation for this final confrontation. And this formation makes sense to me, considering what he's going up against. The Beastmen are formed up, Morgor in the center, Korok's Man Rippers, and the Blackhorn Ravagers in the center to help that leadership around. 3 9-rank units in this remaining force, so the leadership should be able to hold for quite a while. And I think they'll be able to make rather quick work of the remaining High Elf infantry. But here comes the Star Dragon, diving in. Enfeebling Foe is on top of Morgor the Shadowgave. he can dish out quite a lot of damage too. And one thing that concerns me is this Star Dragon got in combat next to the Koroks Man Rippers. Illyrian Reaver Archers are going to dive in for a nice rear charge, but they aren't super heavy hitting, so we'll see how they fare. The front line looks like over here on the right side is very much gone in favor of the High Elves. They use the remaining Dragon Princes to help these Spearmen in combat, and the center went to the Beastmen. But now the Star Dragon is just doing what it does best, and that's cause terror across the field. And just more and more of these Beastmen forces are starting to falter. Say between the Dragon Princes, Teclis, and the Star Dragon, I have a very hard time seeing the Beastmen do okay for the rest of this fight. Rank 4 Star Dragon, 211 kills on this bastard. He can just stay in combat at this point, and terror is going to kick in, and yeah, we'll be good to go. Oh, well, you can pull him out for another charge, I suppose. Quicker way to kill Morgor. Dragon Princes are going to start chasing down the Koroks Man Rippers, charging the Blackhorn Ravagers, and this Star Dragon has been so key to the High Elf victory. It's been devastating at every stage of the battle, and this is probably the first battle of the day that I would say was not lost in the drawing board. I think both players had good armies here. Both players knew what they were about. I think it was lost very much by the Beastmen not extending their line and flanking the High Elf forces. They had so many blobbed up infantry units during this initial combat that allowed the Breaths to do quite a lot of work, and that also just minimized the advantage they had numerically at the beginning of this fight. So yeah, I'm going to chalk it up to that being probably the main factor, in my opinion, that led to the High Elves winning the day. Because at this point, the Star Dragon can stay in combat, and there's no chance that the Beastmen are going to kill it, in my opinion. I think there's a regrowth left here for Teclis, perhaps. And if not, he definitely has Enfeebling Foe. And Enfeebling Foe on top of Morgor or the Koroks Man Rippers will debuff their stats enough to allow the Star Dragon to win the day. Oh my god. You poor little fawns. Alright, gotta stay in combat with one unit. Oh, it looks like he's calling a GG anyways. Alright, here it goes. Yeah, Call the Violence on top of the Beastmen, gonna boost their leadership. And the Knights are gonna pull out, come back in for another charge, it looks like. And we will see when this leadership breaks for the Beastmen. Without Call the Violence, it looks like that will be just enough to start the terror out on one of these Ungor Spearmen. What about the other? Oh my gatos y my zapatos. This poor dragon is very tired at this point, guys. Yeah, terror out going on the Koroks Man Rippers. Blackhorn Ravagers are the only ones holding for now. They're about to start routing too, and now Morgor the Shadowgave is going to get terrified, and it will be a GG to both players. That was a fun game. Oh yeah, you definitely want those pigs. Forgot about that, Black Phillip. You need the pigs. Can't go wrong with bacon. I don't know who Hiotep Suchi is. I haven't seen him before, at least under this name, so he played that really well. Look at that, 262 kills. Rank 5 on this Star Dragon. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I don't recall it coming in with ranks into the battle, which is quite impressive. Yeah, that's crazy. Oh, wow. That's crazy. I've never seen 5 chevrons on a Star Dragon. 2 chevrons on top of these guys, 2 on top of these guys. Like, these high elves, 2 chevrons on these guys. Like, wow. 108, 188, 129, 262. That's some crazy kills. Looking at Undertaker here. Somebody mentioned bacon, and I agree. Razor Gore Herd against high elves are very good. They have the mass to slow down Dragon Prince's time up with your spearmen. But all in all, I don't think this army was awful. Like, I could see what he was going for, and with this kind of rushy build, you know, you could perhaps overwhelm the High Elves, but I think in this case, although I like this army more than this army, I don't think it was lost on the drawing board as much as it was lost by the engagements Undertaker got in there initially. I think, like I said earlier, he just really needed to extend his lines and overwhelm the High Elves by getting those rear charges in. But for now, let's get into this battle between Shetland Apache and Geet Grampa, who I believe is Slate X. So, excuse me. Let's get this army blocker off the screen as well as my camera and go to the battle at hand here on Troll Country. Alright, let's start with the Dowie. Now, the Dowie forces... Actually, I'm going to start with the Greenskins. The Dowie have a tiny army and the Greenskins may spread out, making it harder to cover their whole army. He's got 2 units of Squig Herd. Just a feral variant with mushrooms and spikes on their heads. 2 units of Squig Hoppers, 1 being Dirkit Squigs. 2 units of Gobbo Wolf Rider Archers. Aside from this, he's going to have 2 units of Orc, or 1 unit of Orc Arrow Boys, as well as the Rusty Arrows Armor Sundering Regiment Renowned Night Goblin Archers. He is going to have a Regiment Renowned 8-Peak Loonies over here. These guys are unbreakable with Silver Shields Night Goblins. Gotta love them. He is going to have 4 units of Black Orcs, and then he's going to have 2 units of just regular old Gobbos on either flank. Now, other than this, we are going to be seeing to... Oh my goodness, I need to update the army blocker. I mean, the faction banner. To the one, the only, Grimgor Ironhide. I'm the bestest. Grimgor here, going to go chop up some Dowie. He's got Gitsnick as well as Wa and Foeseeker. So he is decked out, ready to smash some stunties into oblivion. Now, checking out the rest of this army, that's going to be it, besides a Night Goblin Shaman, who is going to be bringing the Wand of Jet, Itching Nuisance, and Vindictive Glare and Sneaky Stabbing. So, for the Dowie, we got a pretty small elite army here, and it's going to consist of 3 Giant Slayers? Oh my god, what is happening? We've got 3 units of Giant Slayers and the Dragonback Slayers. Aside from this, we got the Grumbling Guard and the Peat Gate Guard Hammerers. And then for the rest of the army, we have a Runesmith, Rune of Negation, Rune of Wrath and Ruin, Runesmith, Rune of Negation, Rune of Wrath and Ruin, and Ungrim Iron Fist. Oh my god, this is the Dragon Slayer. He's got Axe of Dargo, Red Ruin, Deadly Onslaught, Foe Seeker, Death Blow, and of course he is unbreakable. So oh my god, Ungrim Iron Fist versus Grimgor Ironhide. Who's going to come out on top? I mean, this is just a battle for the ages. 2 of the most badass warriors in history and 2 very much melee-focused armies. Right now we have Norgrim's Ironbreakers, who I forgot to mention were vanguarded ahead and are up here fighting Wa being popped. And now we are going to see the Greenskin forces going at it against the Dowie. And these Black Orcs are taking a lot of damage. They're getting tuned up by the Peat Gate Guard. And over here, another pretty even matchup between some Giant Slayers and Black Orcs. Black Orcs not having a good time against Giant Slayers, as they are unbreakable, do armor piercing. And, oh my goodness, a big rear charge on top of the Grumbling Guard, though. But the Black Orcs absolutely melted. And look at this. These Black Orcs melting, too. These Black Orcs are almost dead. These Black Orcs are the only ones doing okay, and they're up against the Norgrim's Ironbreakers with the help of Grimgor Ironhide. Itchy Nuisance about to go down, it would look like. Yes, indeed. Debuffing the weapon strength and damage of the Dowie forces. And now it looks like the Norgrim's Ironbreakers have turned around to throw blasting charges at Ungrim, which is going to expose their back to these Black Orcs. But now they have reinforcements coming in with these Giant Slayers, and the Giant Slayers are doing so well against the Black Orcs. It's kind of funny. I never would have thought of this. But, man, of course, Shetland Apache, leave it to him to think of an army like this. Right now we have Ungrim Iron Fist, the 2 Runesmiths, duking it out with Grimgor Irontide. And he's going to have a tough time, I think, getting triple teamed by this many units. Grimgor is one of the best melee lords in the game, but when he's going up against the Slayer King and 2 Runesmiths, he's taking a lot of damage in that combat. You'd never want to go into a fight 1 lord against 3 lords, especially with no infantry support, because right now, look at Grimgor. He's getting chopped to bits. Oh my god, Grimgor getting crushed by the Peat Gate Guard, Ungrim Iron Fist, and both of these Runesmiths. He bit off more than he can chew for sure. Grimgor, no! We have the greenskin archers in the rear doing their best to shoot down this Dowie infantry and dish out enough damage over time, but right now, looking across the field, taking a higher level view, we do still see two very healthy squig herd. Some black orcs have regrouped over here. These black orcs are still about half health almost. But yeah, I am worried about the Dowie here. I mean, about the greenskins here. As it comes in the late game, it looks like the leadership for the Dowie will continue to hold. However, let's see how much damage these rusty arrows can do in conjunction with these wolf rider archers. A lot of the Dowie infantry is starting to get low on health, but the Dowie will just hold together anyways. I mean, they have the Unbreakable Lord with them, the two runesmiths, so looks like the greenskin's going to be doing a good job of trying to send in units piecemeal, getting these units to blob up perhaps so they can start shooting in more arrows into their back. These Runes of Wrath and Ruin have been absolutely devastating a lot of the greenskin infantry as well. Oh, the 8-peak loonies sending out their loons, and those loons do quite a lot of damage. Don't kill too many models, but if you get them through a dense Dowie formation, oh, they will pay off. Nordgrimlings are crazy tough. Rune of Negation on top of them too. Like, these guys are just going to hold on forever. But their leadership is very, very low right now. We're going to see Law getting popped again. And Grimgor is back in combat, and he needs to pull out. Looks like he's going to be trying to do just that. But no, he's turning around, and he can chop the crap out of these runesmiths, doing so much damage. He's got Wah popped. If he had Gitsnick right now, it would be absolutely devastating. But now Ungrim Ironfist is coming in to have a word with him, and Grimoire has got to be careful. If he routs, that could very easily affect the leadership of his army quite dramatically. He is down to 232 HP left, and if he stays in combat, he will very likely die because Ungrim Ironfist is no chump. We got Ironhide versus Ironfist. The archers are going to continue firing in. Squig Hoppers coming over here to eat up this runesmith and the final grumbling guard. Quite a kooky battle indeed. Now, it looks like the greenskins may start taking this away as their numerical superiority starts to really wear on the Dowie player. He only has some slayers left that are unbreakable, but other than that, a very, well, I guess half health runesmith. Almost half health Ungrim Ironfist, so I don't know. If the greenskins can't deal with the Slayer King, that's pretty much the only way I imagine them losing this battle. Oh, a nice hit from Ungrim Ironfist. And oh my god, guess what? The reserves are being called in, folks. We have two previously not in combat squig herds coming to the field of battle, ready to swallow up some Dowie. Already a Rune of Wrath and Ruin going down on them, and here they go into combat, looking like they're going to be used to take care of the Nordgrimlings Ironbreakers once and for all. And I'm trying to remember their mechanic exactly, because they have Squigs Go Wild. Plus 12 leadership if the enemies are nearby. So there they go, getting another rear charge. The Nordgrimlings Ironbreakers finally breaking. And looking like that's going to be the break that the greenskins needed to start sealing the fate of this Dowie army. Runesmith was starting to waver, but we will see if he continues to waver or not. Is he going to rout? Oh! I love squigs. They crack me up. The squigs! The squigs! Rune of Mitigation going down once again. This squig herd, not to be careful. But they did get that Runesmith routing. And if they can keep the Runesmith routing, then, yeah, going to be a GG. Only 3 Giant Slayers left. And Ungrim Iron Fist. Somebody's had to kill this Runesmith! Are Rune and Wrath and Runes not capped to 3? Okay, they're capped to 4. Damn, so 8 of them. It's quite a lot. And now it's just the Slayer King versus everybody. He's got Foe Seeker, Axe of Drogo, and a Red Ruin on there. 688. Damn, this guy's quite tough. There we go. Your tourney stay was uneventful. No, they're starting to fast forward. The enemy lord is dead. Wow, a gentleman's game. Get Crumper, aka Slade X, allowing Shetland Apache's lord, the Dragon Slayer King, to fight until his last breath. Oh my god. Oh god. I need more coffee. 104 kills on these guys. 98. The Giant Slayers are what surprised me, because these Black Orcs got shut down by the Dowie. It was the Squigs and... yeah, it was the Squigs and Wolf Riders in the end that won it for him, basically. Hilarious. But yeah, that was a great game. We are going to see Energized with the Dark Elves facing up against Mukip's High Elves. Mukip's Empire in this best of 3, the first one of the day. So, let's go ahead and start with the Empire player here, ladies and gentlemen. He is going to have a large army. It is going to consist of 3 Spearmen, 2 Flagellants, and 5 Spearmen. And I think I said Spearmen initially. Swordsmen. One of them being the Sigmar Sons, who are a regiment renowned, which is unbreakable. Now, for the rest of his army, we are going to see, starting with the mobility, 2 Knights of the Blazing Sun. I love Knights of the Blazing Sun. And in this matchup, I think they're very good because of the magic resistance. They can resist some of that Soul Stealer, but I guess that's direct damage. But in any case, they can resist the damage from Doomfire Warlocks if they get in combat with them. And Doomfire Warlocks, as we all know, a very popular pick in the current meta. Checking out the range units next, we're going to have the Silver Bullets with their stock, and then we're going to have a Great Cannon. Other than this, going over leadership, we're going to have a Warrior Priest here. A Warrior Priest here to provide even more resistance and buffs. We're going to have the Shield of Faith, Soulfire, along with Scroll of Power, Hammer of Sigmar, and Benediction, which is a constant +8 leadership buff. Above them, they're going to see Karl Franz flying fiercely in the battle atop his Griffin Deathclaw, and he and Deathclaw are going to have the Reichland Runefang, Stand Your Ground, Hold the Line, as well as Blood Roar, which is a constant -8 leadership debuff, so quite awesome. Now, last but certainly not least, we have the Jade Wizard, who is almost a must if you have Karl Franz. Karl Franz is such a badass lord, it's a shame not to have somebody to heal him and keep him in combat. He's got a Power Stone, Regrowth, Earthblood, and that is all. Now, let's take a look at the Dark Elves. And we are going to see, with the infantry, 2 Sisters of Slaughter, 2 Hargoneth Executioners, and 2 Dread Spears. He's going to have the Slaneshi Harvesters here in the Forest Vanguard deployed, hiding, and they are the Magical Cavalry that I was mentioning earlier, the Regiment Renowned version of the Doomfire Warlocks. He's going to have 2 Cold One Knights, and Malekith will be backing them up with Gaze of Malice, as well as Stand Your Ground, Soul Stealer, Power of Darkness, and Spiteful Conjuration. These Velociraptors are going to be duking it out with Karl Franz and his Knights of the Blazing Sun. And just because of Karl Franz, I think they may have a pretty decent edge there. We will see. Checking out the Vanguard deployment from our Dark Elf player, we have 2 Harpies coming around from behind. Not sure if the Empire has noticed them yet or not. But we will see what happens here. It looks like the Empire content to keep its position, let the cannon do the talking for now. And Karl Franz probably going to go out and just do some cheeky damage wherever he gets a chance to do it. And right now, the Harganeth Executioner's losing a couple models. Actually, a decent amount of models. 7 models already. Some good damage. Looks like they're going to start coming into that awkward firing zone where the Great Cannon's just not going to have a good avenue of fire over that lip, but Silver Bullet's going to start doing some damage right away. There's no shields on these Harganeth Executioners, so they're going to take a face full of bullets and probably do quite a lot of work. Oh, I forgot, too. The Silver Bullets do magical damage, making them ideally suited to dish out some mean damage to Doomfire Warlocks. Harpies have come in now, and we see the Knights of the Blazing Sun coming to counter their movements. Harpies diving immediately onto the Great Cannon and the Silver Bullets. Very nice targeting to prevent them from doing any more damage. But now we're going to see Flagellants versus Harganeth Executioners getting demolished. Same with the Sigmar Sons. Good thing they're unbreakable. That'll let them hold a little bit longer. But Sisters of Slaughter coming in too. Once again, seeing a bit of bunching with these units here. Like to see that, but I think it's because the Spearmen bunched and then the Dread Spears came on top of them. Going to see Spearmen on top of the Harpies. The Great Cannon was routed, and now the Harpies are getting hit by Spearmen. Harpies are small units, though, so they don't take extra damage from that bonus versus large. And look at what I've missed. A huge engagement over here. Knights of the Blazing Sun, Reichland Runefang, Shield of Faith, Hammer of Sigmar, Soul Stealer, Stand Your Ground, Soulfire. Everything is here. And now these Cold One Knights are coming in for a nice side charge on top of the Knights of the Blazing Sun, but Knights of the Blazing Suns have already taken care of one of these Cold One Knights, and between Malekith and Karl Franz any day, but right now the Jade Wizard is getting in combat, and he's taking quite a lot of damage from Malekith. It does look like Karl Franz is going to focus on killing these Cold One Knights first, and I think that's totally fine. He can kill models like nobody's business, and yeah, we'll see what comes out on top here. It does seem like the buffs from that Warrior Priest are really helping these guys stay in combat, but now the Doomfire Warlocks have done enough damage. These Knights of the Blazing Sun are beginning to rout, and we're going to see another Earthblood going down on top of this big blob of Empire troops. Karl Franz in combat with Malekith now, and with his duelist trait, he is absolutely devastating in single combat with Lords. Oh, but look at the rest of the Empire army. It has been just rolled over, bulldozed by this very elite Dark Elf Infantry. Sisters of Slaughter, Harganeth Executioners doing their work. And when you come back over here, it looks like the Cav engagement, although the Empire is slowly winning it and killing off Malekith, they've taken a ton of damage. You know, they lost both of their Blazing Suns. We'll see how they fare if they come back. One Knights of the Blazing Sun in combat with the remainder of these Cold One Knights. And they're not doing too great in that combat. But Malekith is taking a ton of damage. However, we're going to see the Cold One Knight start coming back in. And usually, in my experience, whichever Lord has the most meat around him can come out and top in combat. But Karl Franz, no chump. He's causing terror quite often on top of these troops. Stand Your Ground going down should shore up their leadership and keep them in the fight a lot longer. And a nice rear charge going down on the Cold One Knights from the Knights of the Blazing Sun. But look at this now. We have the Jade Wizard who's gotten caught up in combat with Harganeth Executioners and is going to be routing off the field now. And I doubt she's going to be alive I doubt he's going to come back for the rest of this fight. And without the healing, that really swings the battle in favor of the Dark Elves. Even if they kill Malekith, I think there's just too much infantry for the Empire to deal with at this point. Question is, can Karl Franz get out of combat, come over here, and kill Malekith? Because I think that's his really only chance. Now that the Jade Wizard is shattered, though, it's a huge uphill battle for the Empire. Some engagements at the beginning with the Cav that I thought would go a bit better for him, but didn't pan out quite as much as I think he was banking on. And then his front line, there was no contest. Sisters of Slaughter and Harganeth Executioners versus Flagellant Spearmen and Swordsmen is really no contest. And I can't fault the Empire for that, because I don't really recommend bringing expensive infantry against the Dark Elves, because even expensive great swords don't fare that well in combat against a lot of this infantry. So looking here at Energized, he really had the momentum in that battle. 187, 174, 113, 165. This infantry devastated the Empire. And these Harpies, 76 and 54. And these guys just dived into combat at the beginning of the game, and they came out pretty healthy with a lot of kills. Karl Franz, I think, although I understand why he was trying to kill off Cold One Knights, to get rid of those models and help his Knights of the Blazing Sun shine, I think he really needed to invest more in just killing Malekith as quickly as possible, and I think there was some lost opportunities there. I think Mukip could have killed Malekith if he would have dedicated more resources to it earlier and not had Karl Franz on top of the Cold One Knights as much. But once again, a great game, and we'll see who comes out on top in this second round. But here we go. We got the Lizardmen from Energized versus the Dark Elves from Mukip. Round 2, this is match point for Energized, or Mukip, if he wins, can bring this to the ace match for the best of 3. Now, without further ado, getting into the battlefield, let's start with our Lizardman player. We have a very large Lizardman army by the looks of it, 985, so I guess not as large as I thought. Going to have 3 units of Skink Cohort with Javelins, 2 units of Chameleon Skinks, 1 unit of Temple Guard, and then we're going to have 5 units of Saurus Warriors with shields. People love Saurus Warriors today. They are very strong infantry. Aside from that, we are going to have over here for the mobility Cold One Spear Riders, and they will be sitting here with an Ancient Salamander. This Ancient Salamander going to be shooting fireballs out of its gullet into the Dark Elf forces. Now, for the rest of the army, we go to the leadership, and we have a Skink Priest, or sorry, a Skink Chief up in the air. Nothing on him. And then we are going to have a Orange Sherbet Slan, the Mage Priest of High Magic, and he is going to have the Bound Banishment, as well as Shield of the Old Ones, Blood Statuette of Spite, Arcane Unforging, Tempest, Apotheosis, and Greater Arcane Conduit with the Shield of Sapphire for that passive. Now, looking at the Dark Elf forces, we have 2 units of Black Orc Corsairs, 4 units of Spearmen, 3 units of Hargoneth Executioners. He is then going to have some Slaneshi Harvesters, 2 units of Cold One Knights, and Crone Hellebron on top of a steed. Crone Hellebron, eh? She has a bonus versus infantry and armor piercing. She's got the Caves of Cain on top of her, and that is it. Now, for the rest of the Dark Elf leadership, we do have a Sorceress of Death with Spirit Leech, and is that aspect of the Dread Knight? It certainly is. That causes Terra and gives a leadership buff to any ally she would like. And then we have the Dark Star Cloak with Life Leeching. So that rounds it out, and the first fireball going to come in here and dish out some nice damage to these Black Arc Corsairs with Hambos, who are immediately going to come over here to target this Ancient Salamander because, you know, why not? But the second round going in here, landing in the Hargoneth Executioners, doing a touch of damage, probably killing some models as well. This guy, I'm an Ancient Salamander. Missile resistance at 15%, so rather negligible. I think that's just the default for all single entity units. So it looks like the Lizardmen doing a good job taking advantage of some of the terrain features here, making a right flank have to go very wide for the Dark Elves to succeed. But Ancient Salamander, who you're going to blow a fireball at next. Spirit Leech going down on top of that Ancient Salamander. And that was an unfortunate targeting from the Ancient Salamander. It looked like it was towards the banner rather than towards the bulk of those units in infantry. Blood Statuette of Spite doing quite a lot of work here over the Hargoneth Executioners. And then we're going to see a Soul Stealer going down here on top of all of these guys. Where did that Soul Stealer... Oh, the Slaneshi Harvesters have Soul Stealer. Silly me. Doing quite a lot of work over here. The Cold One Spear Riders going up against the Cold One Knights, and it looks like they are not having a good time in this combat. They are getting completely outmatched since there's 2-1 here with Malekith supporting. These guys, even with the Shield of the Old Ones, aren't doing too well. But this banishment, is it going to hit them? Oh no. The poor Lizardmen, that banishment did what they so often do and wandered off aimlessly away from those Cold One Knights it was intended. Over here, Chameleon Skink's doing some really good work on the right flank. Looks like they've taken care of some of these spearmen. And a lot of the Dark Elves over here are just running away right now. And look at this. The magic for the Dark Elves being neutralized very early in the game. We're not even 3 minutes in completely. And already that Death Sorceress is getting chased off by the Skink Chief. A very invaluable investment right there to get rid of the magic. Alright, Crone Hellebron. Looks like she's trying to come over here to help some frontline engagements. And look at this. Saurus Warriors here are beginning to rout. Cold One Knights are coming in for rear charges across the field. And the Hargoneth Executioners are still holding on in those frontline engagements. So coming in here, we'll see a nice rear charge on top of the Lizardman forces. and it's going to knock a lot of these guys just all over the place. So yeah, Dark Elves looking like they've gotten some good work going on here, but the balance of power is going to be in favor of the Lizardmen, so who's going to come out on top? I've come to not trust the balance of power when it comes to these things, because players are going to play and make mistakes or make crazy good plays, and that's what will determine the battle. Now, looking over here, Orange Sherbert Salon in this misty red madness of Cain that Crone Hellebron is popping off. Just going to continue casting his magic. And, yeah, I don't know. Looking at this combat, it looks like the Dark Elves are not going to come out on top over here. However, they may be able to kill off this Ancient Salamander because Crone Hellebron is such a badass. But it looks like she's going to wisely decide, I should probably get out of here. There's Temple Guard nearby, a lot of enemy units and not a lot of friendly units. And now she's getting shot by the Skink Chief. But here come the rest of the Dark Elf reinforcements, and will it be enough, ladies and gentlemen? Arcanum forging on top of her, Ancient Salamander going after her, Shield of the Old Ones being popped, and yeah, Crone Hellebron is taking a ton of damage, but there she goes. She just barely got free, and we'll see how she fares for the remainder of this fight. Hargan Executioners are in battle now. We're going to see the Black Art Corsairs with handbows trying to neutralize this Skink Chief. A nice little counter there. It's doing just enough damage to make him think twice. And now we have Crone Hellebron once again getting on top of this Ancient Salamander. And yeah, this Ancient Salamander is not going to be long for this world. I think that was exactly what the Dark Elves needed to separate them just enough. But, oh! I did not expect that. Was that a terror route on Crone Hellebron from the Ancient Salamander? Who would have thunk it, guys? And now another terror route going down, this time on top of the Harganeth Executioners. And that is really shifting the balance of power right now. Wow. That was completely unexpected. I thought Crone Hellebron had that Ancient Salamander dead to rights right there, but the terror kicking in at a very ideal time, and now the Skink Chief continuing to dish out that chip damage with his little blow dart. Yeah. This is going to be an uphill battle for the Dark Elves now, because Crone Hellebron is just taking more and more damage by the second from that Skink Chief. Yeah, I mean, at this point, it looks like the Dark Elves are just getting overwhelmed. There's enough infantry for the Lizardmen to pull this through. Blood Statuated Spite is going down, and there goes the rout. Crone Hellebron going to be sent packing by the Lizardmen today. Both excellent games to Energized, I want to say. Shout out to Mukip too. He's played some beautiful games. In this one, he got some units doing a ton of damage, and I think he played his Cold One Knights especially well. I was actually surprised by the terror route there. I thought Dark Elves might have had it there if they got rid of that Ancient Salamander, but alas, the terror at that final stage of the battle was very, very key, and was just enough to break up the rest of the Dark Elf forces. And these Chameleon Skinks, 72 kills, 67 kills. I didn't focus on them enough in that battle, but they did some really good work, getting a ton of kills, and, you know, they took care of that right flank very well. So, all in all, a great game to go both players, but Energize is going to be moving on to the finals in today's tournament with a 2-0 victory over Mukip. But thank them both for showing up and playing today. I really appreciate it. Great games to both players. Hey, Hop ZZ for the win. Thank you so much, Hops, for the win. I appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying yourself on today's stream. Always a pleasure to have some new followers and people watching the tournaments. Vampire accounts, round 1, check, link, copy result, boom. Sorry, guys, I just realized I need to do this. I need to get better at the match intro cards. It really sets the theme, you know? So here we are. Grimgore Ironhide versus Manfred von Karstein. I totally forgot his name for a second. Manfred von Karstein. I'm sorry, Manfred. But round 1 in this semifinal match between these two players, it is a best of 3. And starting with our greenskins, we are going to have a very large army that will have the 8 Peak Loonies, 2 units of Gobos, as well as 1, 2, 3, 4 Black Orcs that I can see. We're going to have 2 Wolf Riders, 1 Orc Boar Boy Biggin, Mogram's Mangy Marauders. He's going to have lots of archers here in the form of Orc Arrow boys being 4 of them, and 1 Rusty Arrow in the center for that armor sundering. He is going to have another unit of Orc Boar Boy. Oh, just kidding. Just the one unit of Orc Boar Boy Biggins there. Now, for the rest of his army, he is going to have a Night Goblin Shaman over here. This Night Goblin Shaman is going to have Wand of Jet, Itchy Nuisance, as well as Vindictive Glare and Sneaky Stealing. We're also going to have Skarsnik over here with nothing but Wah, a very defensive defensive tanky lord with 55 melee defense. He's pretty decent. Now, aside from this, we are going to go to the Vampire Count army, and it is going to be interesting. Let's see here. Pretty even numbers here. We're going to have in this Vampire army 3 units of zombies. He's going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 units of Crypt Ghouls, it would seem. We're going to have 1, 2, 3 units of Graveguard, 2 with great weapons, 2 regular variant. Going to have some Crypt Horrors here, and we're going to have a Corpse Cart with an Unholy Lodestone. Now, aside from that, we are going to have 1 Blood Knight, 2 Blood Knights, very nice, so 2 units of Blood Knights who are going to be getting skirmished by Mogrim's Mangy Marauders. And then for the leadership, let's check out who's in charge here. We got Necrok Vampire Lord on top of a Hellsteed, and you come here. You're going to have Dark Protection, Arcane Conduit, Raise Dead, Invocation of Nehek, Spirit Leech, the Hunger, along with Wild at Heart, and the Curse of Undeath. So, here we go. Greenskins. We're going forward, and now they're pulling back, and we're going to see a Spirit Leech going down on top of Skarsnik immediately. And Skarsnik, not the highest HP pull, 5,000, so these Spirit Leechers are actually going to be hurting him quite a lot. No, I don't know if he's the most beefy Greenskin Lord. That probably goes too. Most HP? Wow, that's good to know, Rigson. Alright, so what we really need... I mean, this is why Wurzag may not be the worst option in this matchup, too, for that effigy to get. But look at this. The Blood Knights getting chipped away down to about half health. I mean, they'll get an Invocation to Heck right now. But it's still great value from these guys doing all that damage. Oh! It was a Vindictive Glare actually going down on top of them. So, I mean, yeah, Greenskins playing this patiently as they should. What they really need to do is get Skarsnik back even further to prevent that Spirit Leech from happening unless the Necrok Lord overcast it and takes a chance of taking some damage from that overcast. Because the overcast Spirit Leech doesn't affect the damage, it's just the distance you can cast it from. Over here. Keep on shooting these guys. I love it. Mogrim's Mangy Marauders. These guys will heal it all back up, but that's some very important, valuable damage being done early. And don't go fight in the woods. No, don't fight in the woods. I don't like that at all. I really would rather them not do that. The main reason I'm saying that is just because he has so many archers, they're going to have a debuff in the woods, and you know, you don't want a debuff to your missile units. And honestly, Archon wasn't attacking, so why is he going forward? Okay. Alright, so Wah just got popped. Over here, we're going to see the Orc Boar Boy Biggins diving into Blood Knights and Zombies. Mogrim's Mangy Marauders here to help. And the Wolf Rider Archers need to come around and get a flank. They need to pull around, get a flank. Need to pull around, get a flank. Need to pull around, get a flank. But it looks like it's going to be lost cause. And the Orc Boar Boy Biggins are going to start wavering and possibly routing. But it looks like the leadership's going to go up a bit as those guys came in to help. He needs to kill those Blood Knights or they will come back. Right now, frontline engagements are going on with the Wah. We're going to see the Black Orcs, the 8-peak Loonies, everybody up front trying to chew through these gits. We do see the Crypt Horrors as well as the Graveguard with great weapons being used to try to tangle with the Black Orcs. The Black Orcs so far are untouched and doing very well for themselves. Corpse Cart with the Unholy Lodestone is taking quite a lot of damage from Skarsnik and the Archers. But unfortunately, it looks like the right flank for our Greenskins is getting compromised by Blood Knights, and he really needs to get these guys over here. The Black Orcs are desperately trying to come over here and plug the hole, but it's going to be tough with the speed of those Blood Knights getting in here on top of the Archers. Over here in the back line, what we are seeing is Blood Knights being taken care of. It looks like, you know, they're down to about 12 models, taking a lot of missile damage, 500 health points left. They're almost at their healing cap, so even if the Vampire Lord heals them, they'll probably be a waste of magic. And so we are going to see a very cost-effective trade, in my opinion, with the Orc Boar Boys trading with the Blood Knights there. Over here, we're going to see these Blood Knights, though, doing much better for themselves, diving around the back lines. Fortunately, the forest will slow them down a bit, but right now the Greenskins are looking like their line has been compromised, and I don't know why Slade went into that combat the way he did. I think he would have been just fine, you know, taking a little bit more of a patient approach, but what he needs to do is get these units into combat. Get these units into combat. Pull them back here on top of the Blood Knights, or pull them over here, get us around. But what he needs to do is get these guys into combat. The Black Orcs are untouched at this point. Skarsnik is still quite healthy, and he's continuing to try and chase down that corpse cart with the Unholy Lodestone by the looks of it, and they really need to kill that corpse cart. Over here, Crypt Horror is taking quite a lot of damage from the missiles that are starting to regroup again. Some Dire Pack Wolf here I think would have been absolutely wonderful. Spirit Leech is going down on Skarsnik now, and he's about to get dived in on by the Necroc Vampire Lord. Crypt Horror is coming in to help him, and right now we could see Skarsnik breaking. Yeah, there goes he starting to waver. And the Greenskins just need to start getting their guys into combat and pulling units back from the peripheries of the battlefield. You know, we see some guys regrouping, and it looks like he's actually doing an excellent job. Slade X remembering his Wolf Riders, grabbing everything and trying to bring them back into combat here. If the Greenskins win this, I think it will very much be on the backs of their Black Orcs. Which is no surprise. You know, they're a very popular pick against the Vampire Counts. They are immune to psychology, heavy armor, can take care of all the infantry, as we're seeing right here. But without Skarsnik, I really worry about the Greenskin chances, because there goes the leadership. He is dead as a doornail, and now the leadership is going to take a huge hit across the field for these Greenskin forces. And yeah, I don't know why he went forward. I was about to warn Archon that he wasn't even attacking, so I don't know why the Greenskins went out to face them, but we're going to see right now if Black Orcs will be enough, or if this is going to be over, because it looks like now we have the Night Goblin the Night Goblin Shaman getting chased by Crypt Horrors and the Necroc Vampire Lord. And, yeah, that's going to be an uphill battle for the Greenskins from here as they get a rear charge from these Black Orcs. And, yeah, this is looking rough for Slade X. Oh man, yeah, it's going to be a concession, and Archon's going to take that first victory from Slade X. And, yeah, no, well played to Archon there. Initially, I thought Slade X was doing very, very well for himself. Which he was. You know, it's really a bummer to see him go out of position like that, because Maghrib's Mangy Marauders were getting so much value on top of these Blood Knights, and he was fulfilling the attacking role by skirmishing and shooting them. I really don't know why he didn't just wait patiently for the whole Vampire Count army to have to come forward to him, and then use his mobility and skirmishing power to just continue harassing and killing off Blood Knights. There we go, letting him know. Hops, thank you so much for the subscription. That's far too kind of you. I really appreciate that, man. Yeah, welcome to the stream. Glad to have you follow. Glad you're enjoying yourself, and really glad to have an extra subscriber to help fund the prize pool. So thank you so much for that. Hope you're enjoying yourself. I got to redo that army blocker. But here we go. We've got Slade X with the Norska versus Archon's Vampire Coast. And thank you once again to Party Elite. He's the one who makes this tournament intro card thing, and I reached out to him a while ago to add Vampire Coast, and he has done it, and I'm glad to have it. I was always using Vampire Counts as a placeholder, but much nicer to have the faction represented. So this is round 2, the match point for Archon, and we'll see if Slade X can win it and bring it to an ace match. But without further ado, here we go, loading into the battle map, which is the Northern Threat, one of my newfound maps that I like quite a lot. Yeah, let's start with the Vampire Coast this time. So, starting with the flying units, we're going to have deck droppers, 4 of them to be precise, and then we're going to have a Necrofex Colossus over here, looking absolutely grisly. This is pretty gross looking unit, but man, I love it. All the bodies just hanging out. Over here, we're going to have some Mournguls with their stock. We are also going to have 2 units of Depth Guard. These guys looking sexy as ever. Now, for the frontline infantry, we are going to be seeing 1, 2, 3 Zombie Pirate Deckhand Mob with 2 Zombie Pirate Deckhand Mob with pole arms. Now, it looks like we're going to see a big blobby army here from Archon, perhaps, with flyers flying around to support. Now, looking at the leadership, we are going to see... where's that Vampire Lord? There we go. So, this Vampire Fleet Captain on foot, he is going to have Invocation to Heck, Drown Dead, as well as Hornswaggle, Power Stone, and Death Resurgent. Now, for his leader, we're going to have Luther Harkin up in the air on his Terrorgeist. Luther Harkin is going to have with him Hornswaggle, the Breath, of course, extra powder, and that's it. So, pretty bare bones. Now, for the Norskins, we got 5 units of Marauders, one of them being the Icehorn Marauders Regiment of Renown, who are immune to psychology and have perfect vigor. Aside from that, we're going to have 4 units of Marauder Berserkers. He's then going to have Norscan Warhounds, 1 on either flank. He's going to have the Regiment of Renown Skin Wolves with armor that are going to be the Maws of Savagery. These guys are absolutely awesome, immune to psychology as well. Other than this, we're going to have 4 units of Marauder Hunters with Javelins, which I love. The Marauder Hunters with Javelins will be outranged a bit, I recall. Oh no, they actually outranged the Deck Droppers, but the Deck Droppers with their speed are pretty good at avoiding their damage. Death Shriek going in right away. Going to take out some models and do a decent little bit of damage there. But more importantly, this Necrofex Colossus is dishing out so much damage to these Marauder Berserkers, surprisingly so. And I also forgot over here, the Beast of Tashnar. Jelliot, thank you for the follow. I really appreciate it, buddy. But yeah, Beast of Tashnar vanguarded over here. We will see how they fare as the battle wears on. Right now, looks like we're going to see the Deck Droppers over here, focusing on sniping these units down. And Day 300, also thank you for the follow. I appreciate it greatly. You guys are awesome. But yeah, here we go. Looks like he's going to be shooting down this Shaman Sorcerer of Fire, who I also haven't covered yet. Shaman Sorcerer of Fire are going to have Burning Head, Flaming Sword of Ruin, and Fireball, along with Kindle Flame. And then we're going to have Wolfric the Wanderer over here with Hunter of Champions, Sea Fang, and Foe Seeker. So, yeah, right now, a lot of sniping potential coming in from the Vampire counts here. The Marauder Hunters with Javelins are going to turn around and start throwing Javelins into the Deck Droppers and dishing out quite a lot of damage very quickly there. Now we'll see if they shift their target to Luther Harkin. Marauder Hunters with Javelins do quite a lot of damage, so he does need to be careful. The bonus versus large is no joke. And, yeah, Luther Harkin really committing a lot to killing this Shaman Sorcerer of Fire. And we will see what happens. But the Shaman Sorcerer of Fire looks like he may be trying to get up here, get in position, and do a mean Burning Head. Will he be able to do it? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. But one thing I'm worried about... no, actually, the Maws of Savagery are nearby, so they can help protect. Sea Fang going down. Whoa! Doing quite a lot of damage to those fools. And when will the Burning Head go? Oh, no! We're going to see the Fire Sorcerer start routing before he can throw down the Burning Head. And with... oh, man, I wanted to see that Burning Head. Who would have been able to burninate so many zombies. And now over here, the Deck Droppers are on top of the Javelins in melee combat. And we'll see who comes out on top of that a bit later. But I want to come back over to this side of the battlefield and see what is happening against the Vampire Coast. We see that the Marauders Berserkers have closed the gap and are starting to do a lot of damage, but terror is kicking in on some of these Marauder Berserkers, the lower tier infantry. Maws of Savagery coming over here, and they're going to get on top of Luther Harkin. Nice charge, going to give that Shaman Sorcerer just a nick of time to get away. We will see what happens, but I need to see the Beast of Tashnar get on. And, oh no, Luther Harkin going to take off, no problem. If only the Beast of Tashnar had been nearby to help pin him in place, that would have meant Luther Harkin was dead to rights. Nothing that they could have done about it. But here goes Luther Harkin again, diving in to chase down that Sorcerer, and he's going to get hit in the back this time. And if the Beast of Tashnar can rally, they can pin him in place. But the Deck Droppers are coming over here to support that combat, and we will see how they fare. Right now, it does not look like these guys are being microed in. They need to get on top of him. Don't let him take back off. Oh, he's going to take off right now. Coming back over here to the main engagement, we're going to see the Necrofex Colossus is still very healthy, along with the Vampire Fleet Captain. And a lot of the Vampire Coast infantry is still doing well. A lot of blobbed up units here from the Norscan infantry. I like to see these guys pull out and be refocused. over here. We need to see these guys come over here, get in combat, kill off the Morghuls, help this blob engagement, because if they don't win this blob engagement before Lothar Harkin gets back, I don't know if they're going to win this blob engagement. It's looking pretty rough for Norsk at this point. The balance of power is shifting against them. And Archon the Black has just done a good job of separating this Norscan army quite a lot throughout the battle. And these deck droppers, yeah, pinned down those javelins for so long. So right now, I don't know where... Ah, there he is. Wolfric the Wanderer is in here trying to kill off the Vampire Fleet Captain, but now he's getting charged and a terror route's going down. Balance of power going to continue to shift, and I just don't know what all of these units are doing over here in reserve. The Mazda Savagery need to be in combat with some of these bigger units in order to help the Norskins win this fight, but I feel like they have been underutilized for the battle so far. They really needed to be in on top of the Necrofex Colossus, killing it, and yeah, I just feel like this is going to go the way of the Vampire Coast, the way it looks right now, because all of the Norscan leadership is dead. Most of their infantry is starting to rout, and the Mazda Savagery just came in a bit too late in the battle. Vampire Fleet Captain has hit his healing cap, but at this point, the Necrofex is so healthy, Lothar Harkin is still very healthy, and yeah, I just don't see Norska pulling it back. They needed these javelins in position way sooner, and yeah, I think them kind of splitting up their forces, getting distracted, and not protecting the caster well enough. Yeah, it's going to be a victory for the coast here. Oh, excuse me. God damn. That is the victory to Archon the Black, taking that semifinal also in a 2-0 victory. Here we go. Not going to do the tournament intro card for this battle because I messed up and closed the tab, so I wiped all of the tournament information. It'll take too long for me to get it back up. So, here we are. Double slan a rule break? Does he have a double slan? Yeah, double slan is a rule break, but there's no double slan here. So, here we go. Looking at Archon the Black's army, we have the Undead here with a decent infantry force of 2 Skeleton Warriors and 4 Grave Guard, just the regular variant. They will be backed up by a Mortis engine, as well as a Corpse Cart with an Unholy Lodestone. Aside from that, he's going to be up in the air with 2 Terrorgeist, as well as the Red Duke, and there's some Blood Knights or Black Knights over here in the forest. Now, the Red Duke is going to have with him Behel's Dance Macabre, El Sif, Raised Dead, as well as Invocation of Heck and the Curse of Undeath. Now, for the Lizardman army, I'm happy with this army. We're going to have Temple Guard, Skink Cohort, another Temple Guard being the Star Chamber Guardians. We're going to have Lord Croak, and then up in the air, we're going to have Tic-Tac-Toe with the Colossadon Hunters, 2 Ripperdactyls, 2 Pterodon Riders, and yeah, it looks like the Vampire Counts are going to have a bad day here because I don't know if they win in this combat or not. I guess we'll see if the Lizardman Air Force is up to snuff. Oh, a Shriek going against the Ripperdactyl Riders, not doing nearly as much damage as I think they needed it to. And here we go. The Vampire Counts going up against an Air Force from the Lizardmen, and we will see who comes out on top. It looks like quite a lot of units are dropping right here. And oh man, this is going to be interesting. We're going to see the Hell's Dance Macabre popped over here, the Mortis engine coming underneath this combat, and it looks like some of these Ripperdactyls are already getting terror routed, but one of these Terrorgeist is almost killed. So who is going to come out on top in this Air Force engagement? If the Lizardmen can kill off the Air Force of the Vampire Counts, then this game is over in my opinion. A big wind blast coming through here, doing a ton of damage to those Grave Guard down below, and it looks like the Lizardmen have the number of the Vampire Counts in this battle, calling that there would more than likely be a significant Air Force from Archon the Black given his playstyle, and they have completely countered this. And since the Vampire Counts have absolutely no missile units to support their Air Force, it's just going to be melee combat versus melee combat, and I think the Lizardmen have won this battle already. So, good game to both players, but yeah, with the yeah, I don't know. They do have the Mortis engine and an Unholy Lodestone, but I really doubt the Mortis engine will be enough to win this fight. And right now he's going to spend 1 unit of Ripperdactyl Riders, being the Colossedon Hunters, to go off and kill the Red Duke. These guys have a special ability since our regiment renowned, and basically they have the Toad Rage, so they can rampage, but it gives them a significant bonus to armor piercing and weapon damage. So Vampire Lord are going to be chased off by the Ripperdactyl Riders, while the rest of the Vampire force comes over here, and I just don't see them doing well against Krolk, who will be able to destroy their infantry when they bundle up, and then the Star Chamber Guardians, who are just very, very tanky to begin with. But alas, Skink cohorts are already starting to rout. We'll see what happens from here. Over here, there goes the Vampire Lord, the Red Duke, in combat with Ripperdactyl Riders. He's going to kill off 3 models by the looks of it, but not going to be enough to save himself, even with the Hell's Dance Macabre popped on top of him. Although that speed, I forgot about that, 131 speed, so he's going to be able to escape. He is crumbling, though. And will he stop crumbling? I'm not sure. The Hell's Dance Macabre really saving this Vampire Lord for a lot of this battle as he continues to run away. But he is crumbling, and I'm sure an Invocation to Heck is coming soon, but we will have to see if he survives that combat in a moment. Over here, we're going to see the battle between the blobs continue. Temple Guard, Skink Cohort, going to be duking it out with the Vampire Counts on the ground, and that's going to be a concession from Archon the Black. And you know what I didn't do? I didn't even update the name of the player. This isn't Slate X. This is Energized. My apologies to everybody. Energized. Taking a 1-0 lead over Archon in this final. And I have to say, that was a very convincing victory. And that one was one on the drawing board for sure. Going very heavy on the Air Force, I think. Banking on the Vampire Counts having an Air Force, because if they wouldn't have had an Air Force, this would have been a rough battle for the Lizardmen, but his gamble paid off, and a good game to Energize, taking the lead in this best of 3. So we'll see who comes out on top in the next round. Archon the Black, I think, played that as well as he could. He got his Air Force over his Mortis engine, trying to support him as best as possible, but the numbers in the air were just so far against him that there was nothing he could do. I want to get Romulan in for at least one battle co-cast. You see, this is why I like having Archon in my tournaments, because I really enjoy how heated people get about him. You gotta have that guy, you know? You gotta have the guy who the Karate Kid beats at the end. And that is Archon the Black. The one everybody wants to lose. But yeah, I'll keep letting him play as long as he doesn't break my fucking rules and as long as he doesn't sign up with the Smurf account. I already told him if he has a Smurf account again in one of my tournaments, he's banned forever. And I think I'm like one of the last tournament admins who even lets him play in his tournaments. So, in any case, let's take a look at the armies here. We got Energized with the High Elves that we need to update a faction banner for. Do that one. And then we have the Dark Elves for Archon the Black. Now, for our Dark Elves, let's do this one. We'll get ourselves some Witch Elf action going. So, starting with our blue player, let's see what Energize has brought to the field. He's going to have 2 Swordmasters of Hoeth, 2 White Lines of Trace, 2 Spearmen, make that 3 Lothran Sea Guard. So, nice elite infantry army. We'll see how it fares. Aside from that, he is going to have Alariel the Radiant up in the air, with Star of Avalorn, Arcane Unforging, Arcane Conduit, Tempest, Earthblood, Shield of Sapphire, as well as the Shield Stone of Isha and the Boon of Isha. We're going to have a Star Dragon next to her, so this is a pretty strong Air Force combination. Now, looking at the Dark Elves, Archon the Black has positioned himself on the other side of the battlefield with some Reaper Bolt Thrower action to force the High Elves to him. I like that pick. He's going to have 4 units of Dread, or Bleak Swords, 4 units of Dread Spears, or is that just 3? Is that just 2? 2 units of Dread Spears, my apologies. And then he's going to have 2 units of Harganeth Executioners as well. Aside from that, he's going to have 4 Cold One Knights, 2 on his left flank and 2 on his right flank, both of them hidden. And then he is going to have up in the air his leadership, which is going to be Marathi, with nothing but the Wand of Karaidon, as well as Deadly Onslaught, Soul Stealer, Power of Darkness, Melkos Mystify Miasma, and Heartrender and the Dark Sword with Enchanting Beauty and Greater Arcane Conduit. So, here we go, ladies and gents. What's going to happen? Morathi should be able to choose the engagement she wants because she has 105 speed. Alariel the Radiant can catch her, but Alariel the Radiant probably doesn't want to be in combat with her. The Star Dragon has a mere 80 speed, so very easy for Morathi to avoid that combat if she chooses to. Oh, Tempest! You guys, he brought Tempest! I have to say that, damn, Energized is bringing a lot of good tools to counter Archon's playstyle, and yeah, a good Tempest here could be a very big deal. Oh my god, is he taking bait? Is Energized leading him into a trap? It looks like he's dragging him in front of his archers, but Archon not going to bite that far. Going to get the Tempest on top of him. Tempest does some damage. Alright, here we go. Going to see Alariel the Radiant coming in for a rear charge on top of Morathi. Morathi going to be popping Deadly Onslaught, and she's going to dish out some mean damage on that first hit to Alariel the Radiant, and now the second hit too. Alariel the Radiant's just not nearly prepared for combat against Morathi, in my opinion. She's going to start flying away, and Morathi will pursue. But looks like the Lothran Seaguard are nearby to help counter and support Alariel on her retreat. Meanwhile, we're going to see the Star Dragon diving into the to the Hargath Executioners, and it needs to get out of there. We have Cold One Knights coming down the hill to charge into the Star Dragon, and will it be able to get out? It looks like it just may, but man, yeah, it's going to take a lot of damage to the back there, and now it's starting to get surrounded, and Morathi looks like she may be diving in to pin it in place even further. Now, this is a precarious position for the Star Dragon to be in. It's surrounded by Cold One Knights. Star of Avalorn going to go down, though. And now look at Morathi. It's her turn to be worried about combat. And she is just getting smashed by the Star Dragon and Alariel the Radiant, doing so much damage. Meanwhile, over here, it looks like the Wand of Peridon is going to be pulled down on top of the Swordmasters of Hoeth. And we will see what kind of damage it will do. Does quite a lot of damage. Star Dragon and Alariel the Radiant staying healthy because of that Star of Avalorn, which is still going on, ladies and gentlemen. However, their position has not changed too much because these Cold One Knights are just as healthy as they are when they arrived. Morathi, though, getting into combat again, and I have to say, that seems to be a dangerous decision with a Star Dragon on the ground and Morathi so low on health. Meanwhile, over here, we're going to see Lothran Seaguards taking a nice rear charge from the Cold One Knights. They are bonuses as large, so the Cold One Knights will want to pull out before they get sandwiched by these High Elf Spearmen too. Soul Stealer going down from Morathi on top of the Star Dragon, Alariel, and some Swordmasters of Hoeth. And now we have Swordmasters of Hoeth in the combat with the Dark Elves here. Taking a look over here at the right flank, White Lines of Trace getting taken out. Dread Spears tied even with the High Elf Spearmen, it would seem. Eagleclaw Bolt Thrower is uninterrupted, continuing to fire wherever it pleases. We have some Dark Elf infantry coming back here, the Bleak Swords. And the Star Dragon looking so low on health, and it needs to get healed right now. It desperately needs to get healed. It's starting to rout, and now Morathi is chasing it, and look at it. It's low on health, 918 health points left. We need to see Alariel the Radiant heal up this Star Dragon, otherwise it will die, and without the Star Dragon, I think this is a Dark Elf victory quite easily, just because of the cav advantage. You need that Star Dragon for that big mass, you need that Star Dragon for that terror, and I haven't seen a single breath go down yet. So right now, Archon the Black with his Dark Elves looking like he's in a strong position as we're coming into the mid to late game. Alariel the Radiant getting attacked by Morathi, and the Star Dragon on the ground still getting chased down by Cold One Knights. It cannot escape. We need this Star Dragon to be saved by Alariel, but it may be too late. Yeah, 261 health points left. It looks like Alariel is just going to give up on it, and I don't know where she's going. If she can heal up this Star Dragon, then she could still do something, but all of these units are routing, and there goes the Star Dragon, and in my opinion, there goes the chances of the High Elves winning this match. Some initial strong engagements from Energized here, but it's not good enough in the end. I really would have loved to have seen some... really would have liked to have seen the Star Dragon use some of its breaths. But I have to say right now, this is a brilliant move from Energized. Taking a Lariel Radiant, throwing down an upgraded Tempest on top of her, on top of Marathi, and then trying to kill her while she's in the Star of Avalorn, healing up all of the damage she takes. And Marathi taking quite a lot of damage, 652 health points left. And who will come out on top between these two very capable lords? I do think the speed advantage is going to the Great Eagle. So will Marathi be able to escape or not? All she has to do is dive down onto the ground. But there goes the chain route. And we're going to see an ace match, guys. Archon the Black versus Energized. The Dark Elves taking out the High Elves in that round.
I haven't really played Tomb King Mirrors since, but it was a very interesting tournament. I mean, you can go with there's a few different ways. You can try and, shoot the Tomb Kings to pieces with Bo Shopti. Or you can just try and rush with the constructs, the snakes, try and rip them apart. It's very dynamic. It's really cool. Should be a great game, and I'm hyped. Hype.
I'm excited for it too, and we haven't seen the Tomb Kings in today's tournament yet. We've seen the other two Undead factions, so excited to see how these guys fare against the Tomb Kings. I mean, we're getting double the Tomb King action right now for the ace match of this final, and I guess it's time to see who's the better Tomb King player between these two. I think Energized has won a tournament before, but in any case, I'm going to call them both tournament champs.
Yes, they've certainly played like it today. I've had some great play out of both of them. I have a feeling it's going to be a shoot-off. I'm not sure why, but I think we're going to see a bunch of Bo Shopti. I'm calling 5.
You're calling 5 Bo Shopti?
I think I'm wrong. I'm wrong, but I'm not too far off, though.
You want red or blue?
I will take red, my friend. I can start it off here.
Take it away.
Now, starting with the infantry corps, we have 2 skeleton spearmen, 1 on either flank. Now we have a strong core. We have 3 tomb guard and 2 tomb guard with halberds. Now for the cavalry, we have pretty cheap mass cavalry. That looks like 2 skeleton horsemen and 2 Nekar horsemen. It's like, yes, 1 is redeployed to a flank. Now we do have the dreaded bone giant somewhere. There he is, up on the hill. We'll see how he fares this battle. He may find himself shot. Now for the leadership, we have 2 tomb princes. And they appear to be naked, just on a horse. And of course, for the Lord, we have Archon the Black. He has a standard kit. The Summon, Staff of Nagash, Improved Power Recharge Rate, Liber Mortis, Spirit Leech, and My Will Be Done. So a pretty standard kit. The Ward Save, Summon, Spirit Leech. So what has the blue Tomb King brought to deal with this red Tomb King?
It's a great question, and as the battle begins, it looks like we're going to be seeing skeleton warriors on either flank of the infantry corps with 3 tomb guard in the center. We're going to have 2 Necropolis Knights with halberds, and then we're going to have 3 Bo Shopti. We're going to have a tomb guard with halberds holding up the rear, and oh no, I think he forgot a unit. And yeah, he did. He definitely forgot a unit. Got a Lich Priest of Light here in the back with Net of Mintok Foss Protection, as well as the whatever the hell that's called, Venom Wave, and the Curse. Now, for the rest of the leadership in this army, we are going to have High Queen Khalida. High King Khalida is going to get shot in the face by the Bone Giant. Sorry, that was comical. She's going to have Venom Wave, My Will Be Done, Blessing of Saf, and the Curse. So, that rounds it out. Spirit Leech going down on top of Khalida, and we'll see who fares best in this fight. And Bo Shopti are in range,
another
right?
big shot. Yeah. Look at that. Or Khalida just ate another big shot to the face. Sorry, I just had to mention that. She needs to start dodging. She needs to move.
Dude,
my goodness. My goodness.
That's an infantry unit. It's a single entity infantry, and that Bone Giant is sniping her so hard.
Yeah, at this point, you just need to click shift and, do a few zigzags back and forth. Just keep her alive, you know? But, oh, my goodness.
Also,
It
3
is a big shot,
Boshopti
though.
are like doing no damage to that Bone Giant for some reason. Like they're doing
It has
damage,
a
but
relatively skinny Yeah, sorry, it may have a relatively skinny profile. Maybe they're just, they're missing. They're all missing.
Damn. Think I would like to see those Boshopti just target Arc on the black instead, but now it's too late. We got Nehekar Horseman, Swordsman, Skeleton Spearman, Skeleton Horseman diving in on top of the Boshopti, and now they're compromised.
And it was a beautiful play. Arkin thread the needle, ran a Tomb Guard right between the lines of Energized, and he's onto the Boshopti with infantry and a little bit of cav support. That's it could spell disaster.
Yeah.
It's a rough spot to be in.
Well, not only that, but the fact that his Lich Priest of Light was forgotten and so far out of the way really, really hurt him. But then again, look at that. A Net of Mintok going down on top of the Nehekar Horseman right in the nick of time for those Necropolis Knights to just start shredding through them. They do so much damage there.
Yeah, it seems they're a bit out of position, though. You know, they're dealing with some cav on the flanks, but they need to be back here protecting the Ushopti bows, and they've done some damage to the Bow Giant, but not quick enough. Now the Bow Giant's returning it back twofold.
Yep.
With interest, and yeah, one Boshopti's down, and the other two are in a bad place.
Yeah, I have to say the fact that he left that caster out of position led him to bring these Necropolis Knights way out of position, which has really hurt him as this battle has worn on because, yeah, like you said, they aren't over here to protect the Boshopti, and now you have Skeleton Horsemen and Nehekar Horsemen just taking out Boshopti, and that's a really cost-efficient trade.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And now the Tomb King Lord has fallen, and you know that's usually the linchpin for every undead army. So
it's absolutely right. I mean, they still have the Lich Priest, and it looks like the Tomb King blue player is going to be able to kill off some Tomb Princes here, but now we got to summon a Ushopti over here, and yeah, this is looking very bleak for our blue player here. As Arc on the black is flexing his Tomb King muscles here as the battle wears on. I mean, at this point, I'm looking around wondering what blue could do to bring this back. I mean, the two Necropolis Knights are doing okay for themselves, but just don't think that's going to be enough to deal with all the infantry that's left on the red side.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe if they could find some sort of good position with their Boshopti, but they just, you know, their only tool is the Snake Knight here, which is, yeah, just tied up. There's too much on the field. And, yeah, it looks like a very well-played game to Arkin.
Yeah, I'd have to agree there. I mean, Archon bringing this series back into his favor very well with the last two battles. And, I mean, it looks like Blue may be able to kill off a Tomb Prince, but it's all at the cost of not having those Necropolis Knights over there protecting the Boshopti. And, yeah, that just... I have to say I empathize with the situation here. The Lich Priest was forgotten, which made him feel the pressure to pull his army apart. But also, I want to call out that the Boshopti, I would have targeted the Bone Giant too. I didn't expect him to be that useless there, but they were very useless. And in hindsight, I'm sure targeting Archon or even just the Tomb King infantry would have been a lot more cost-effective.
Yes, perhaps. It's an interesting situation. I mean, people saw the Bone Giant was taking damage, but I'd like to clarify something. I zoomed in and watched a few volleys. You know, maybe 30% of the shots actually hit the Bone Giant. Most of them just, you know, straight left to right and wide. I mean, it wasn't really close. So, you know, sure they did damage, but yeah, they didn't get the damage done fast enough. And just very, very intelligent engagements across the field.
Yeah. No, Archon.
Took winning engagements on the front line and then got, you know, shot the gaps.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think Archon the Black played this very, very well for himself. And, yeah, just a good example of why he is such a solid and feared undead player because, yeah, right now I think he just showed his understanding of this match greatly.
Yeah, indeed. I would like to see a more aggro army, maybe, but someone said it well in chat. You know, it's always risky picking a faction to a player who's best known for that faction, who has, you know,
yes,
hours and hours of experience.
No,
with the counters and counter builds for that faction.
Yeah, I would agree. Don't bring Greenskins against Slate X. Don't bring Beastmen against DMG. Don't bring Tomb Kings against Archon. But yeah, no, that was
Indeed.
very well played.
And if you are bold enough to do it, you better be very sure about your build. But yeah, it's just unfortunate. It was a tough start for Energized, and yeah, he was kind of scrambling to get back into position from the start.
Yeah. I think forgetting that Lich Priest really set the pace for the rest of the battle there, because he immediately had to send off two of his very important units, the only units he had to protect and ward off from the Nehekara Horsemen and Skeleton Horsemen. And as soon as they left the battlefield, then it was just the Tomb King army getting wrapped up by Archon's forces. So, yeah, and Bone Giant, once again, Bone Giant, why are you so good? Why are you able to shoot and snipe a single entity lord on foot? I don't get it. I don't like it. But...
yeah, man, Bone Giant MVP. Beautiful addition to the Tomb King army. And it's just a shame to see Kalita not on her snake,
Oh, yeah.
She's a snake lady, You got to bring her on her snake. I mean, at least in my opinion, I'm a bit biased with her.
Yeah.
I always like her on her snake. She's a really fun hit squad with the Necro Knights. My will be done on the Necro Knight, buffs it up a little bit, lets it do better against infantry, whatnot.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, regardless, maybe he just wanted a tanky anti-large lord.
Yeah, definitely. GG. Yeah, my heart hurt when I saw that mage. But yeah, I want to thank you. I'm sorry that we didn't get you in here earlier, Romulan. I do feel bad that we only got you for one battle. Would have loved to have had you longer.
Oh, no worries, but I had a couple things that I had to take care of. It took a little longer than I planned, and yeah, it's just a warm-up for next week's final round of Destruction tournament. So
yeah, about that.
Oh yeah,
I had a family thing come
it?
up. Yeah, I have to push it out. I had a family thing come up, so I'm sorry.
Oh,
everybody.
it's not terrible. Well, I'm sure it's sad for the viewers, though. I might just go to a lake house or something. But yeah, it'll be in the works anyway, so it's something to look forward to.
Yes.
Yeah,
definitely.
thanks for organizing the tournament today, though, man. It was a good time.
Yeah, of course, and I'll try to get some more games in because I'm going to be out of town next weekend, so I'll try to maybe do a flash tournament or something before next weekend comes up so we can get a little bit of a fix in there before I get this finals rescheduled. So, in any case, thank you for being here, man, and always a pleasure to have you co-casting. When I was co-casting with Iron Thunder, it was weird. I just had to figure out a new cadence. It was like I couldn't figure out the groove, but when it's with you, we just like peanut butter and jelly,
Yeah, PB&J, man. And, I thought Iron Thunder, he did a good job. And,
yeah.
A British accent, man. British accent, it's always hard to beat.
It's really hard to beat, It's like, yeah, I was thinking that too. I'm like, man, people love the British accent. And I want to try to co-cast with more people, keep on networking and, getting more variety. But, yeah, always a pleasure to have you, bud.
Yeah, always a pleasure to be here. And, yeah, man, until next time, yeah, be excellent. And crump the gits.
Always. And chat, I want to say goodbye and thank you to you guys. Real quick shout out once again to the new followers and subscribers we got today's stream. I know we got, oops, excuse me. I lost my tab. So we have Day 300, Jelliot, and then we also have Wicked Science, Shetland Apache, and Hops who all subscribed today. Thank you guys so much for the subscriptions and the follows. I really appreciate it. You guys are the best. Thank you guys so much for showing up and supporting these tournaments. I hope you enjoy them, and I will continue to host them moving forward. Although, to be completely honest, the next few weeks, they've been really rough, so I'll keep you guys posted. I'll stream and do as many tournaments as I can, but they may be a little less frequent for a bit. But in any case, take care of yourselves. My son HW going to be signing out. I will see you next time.